What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon NBA DFS video. It is Friday. It is March 8th, and we are back with another video for you. Big day yesterday. We'll go over it. We'll explain everything. If you're new to the channel, we try to have giveaways every single day. There's 2 ways to win. Like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment on the video for the comment picker to pick you up. 50 likes, someone will win a free week of DFS content. 100 likes, someone will win a free month. 125 likes, a free year. And if we ever get 150 or more likes on a video, you leave a comment, you are a YouTube subscriber, you have a chance to win a $500 lifetime pass brought to you by FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. The second way to win, you can multiply them together. Be a subscriber, like the video, and tell me who's going to score the most amount of DraftKings fantasy points on this slate and how many fantasy points will they score. You get both of those correct, or closest without going over, you will win a free week. If you get it exactly correct, you will win a free year. Nobody has gotten it exactly correct yet. Yesterday, one person was 0.25 off. 0.25 off of getting a free year of FantasyTeamAdvisors.com content. So, yesterday they chose Luka Doncic and 73 fantasy points. Luka went off for 73.25. The winner, and just won, I believe he won last week or the week before. I can't quite remember how far back it was. But the winner was none other. And I see a lot of people like, dude, I've been commenting and nothing. Tony, you're going to get there. Timothy Jones, 3694. If you see this, like the video and then hit me up on email, dfshelp1@gmail.com, and we'll get you, or maybe by the time you've already watched this, it might have already, I already gave you your free day or free week. So that being said, congratulations again, Timothy Jones, on the free week. And you guys can win every single day, and that's why we were here. We are trying to make you a better DFS player, but we also want you guys to have fun as well. So we're going to do this exact same thing with MLB. We do home run contests there. Normally with NFL, we do who scores what quarterback or whatever it is scores the most amount of fantasy points and stuff like that. So we're trying to give giveaways every single day. If you want to go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, go check it out just to see what we have to offer. So yesterday we announced that we were partnering up with DFS Hero, which you can find right here. If you guys sign up with DFS Hero, you will get 15% off your first month. They have a fantastic optimizer, and what we're going to do is we're going to, when I say partner up, if anyone clicks on the link on the article or in the link down below and you guys sign up using our link, we're going to give you a free month of content. That's a free month of all of our content here. So all of our MLB, NASCAR, NBA, NFL, PGA, whatever is in season during that time, we're going to give you the first month completely free with that. We used it yesterday, and if you checked it out, our lineups we built yesterday using our information, our projections, and we plugged them into the DFS Hero lineup optimizer, absolutely killed it. I think we did 3 lineups yesterday, all 3 300 plus. The biggest one was 355. We cashed in every lineup that we did there. So that is kind of why we're here. We are using our information, our expertise. We're digging into what we do in these videos, but getting a little bit of boost because, again, I wanted to put a optimizer into the website, but I don't have $5,000 to build an optimizer out, and then it's like $500 plus a month to get it just to be functional, and I don't want to do like an Excel optimizer because those don't look good. So anyone that signs up using our link in the description of this video will get a first free month or if just a month free of all of our content as well. So definitely check that out. Everything we do in these videos is going to be using our information, our projections, and help from DFS Hero. So again, go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. In the description down below, you'll find this article right here and our link to DFS Hero. So this article, anytime there are at least 5 games on the slate, in the article linked below, you'll get 3 top, 3 mid, and 3 value picks with our projections. Now, the value will open up throughout the day. So when we get into the DraftKings, you're going to see how many people are already out or questionable. Some big names that are already out for this slate. So we've got to find that value. So that's why we're going to use the information. We're going to change it up a little bit in this video, see maybe if you guys like this a little bit better than the normal way we do it. And towards the end of the video, we will build a DraftKings and FanDuel lineup, and we will go from there. So the normal routine, we're going to go through the Vegas odds. We're going to look at the games, and that'll kind of help us determine if there are certain games we want to steer away from or definitely dive into, and use those plays at that position. So that's definitely what we're going to do right now. So looking at the Vegas odds, we have the 6 games on the slate. We've got the Lakers versus Bucks. Lakers being a 1.5 point favorite right now. I don't know if that means Giannis is out. We will definitely look at that. I have not even looked at that yet. But a 235 over-under or 235.5 is not bad. We've got Wizards, Hornets, very bad teams. Wizards give up a ton of fantasy points, but they're the ones that are actually favorited right now. So this is something to monitor. But we could take some players from the Wizards here. I definitely want some Hornets players too, just because of how bad the actual both of these teams are very bad. Very, very bad. Very, very, very bad. We got Thunder versus Heat. Thunder being an 8.5 point favorite right now. This is definitely something to watch. Not in a blowout potential yet, but monitor how the Vegas odds have gone up or down throughout the day, and you can kind of see if they might think this is going to be a bigger blowout than it might actually be. We got Pelicans versus 76ers. Pelicans are a 6.5 point favorite. We've got Rockets versus Trailblazers. Rockets being a 5 point favorite. Hawks versus Grizzlies. Hawks being a 3 point favorite, which both of these teams are bad too, but a close game, we can take advantage. And then we got some lower over-unders here. We've got Timberwolves versus Cavs. Timberwolves being a 1.5 point favorite. And Knicks versus Magic. Knicks only being 1.5 point favorite here. So we'll definitely look at this. Again, some of these teams are playing the second game of a back-to-back. So this is something to monitor when building your lineups. So just kind of going through, looking at all the players that are already listed out. You got Embiid, obviously he's out. Donovan Mitchell's out. Ball is out. Maxey's out. Julius Randle is out. Karl Anthony Towns is out. Evan Mobley is out. Jalen Johnson is out. I mean, there's so many people out already. Hero is out. Anunoby is out. Okongwu is out. Bagley is out. Strus is out. Just so many big names that are already out. So instead of going game by game, let me know if you guys like it this way. If you do like it this way, we'll continue. We'll continue going this way. If you like it the old way, tomorrow's video will put it the old way, going game by game, players that we like in those games. So what we're going to do is a new way, using DFS Hero, using everything they have there, but also using with our projections and just our insight that you guys have come to love. That's why you're here. So again, I need feedback. I need you guys to tell me if you like it this way. I need feedback if you like it the other way, or maybe if there's something you want to see in these videos, let me know and we can go with it that way as well. So just taking a look, we're going to go point guard. We're going to go each position and we're going to break it down a little bit just to see. SGA is at the top. As of the making of this video, I have him projected currently as the highest scoring point guard right now. So love me some SGA. Jalen Brunson being questionable will open up some value if he is out. Did miss Tuesday. Able to go through most of Thursday's practice. I don't know if he's going to be 100% healthy. That's what scares me a little bit. So Brunson, if he is in, I do like him number 2 here, but I'm not 100% sure if that's what we're going to get. With all of the other players being out, Darius Garland is my third point guard that I want to look at. Absolutely love Darius Garland here. There's just other players out for Cleveland. That bumps it up. His price, he is coming off a bad game at 27.25 against Atlanta, but I do like this matchup here against Minnesota, who are without Cat, and there's a lot to like in this game. Another one is Tyus Jones. He's got a great matchup here against Charlotte. DVP, this rank is 23rd out of 30. So everything I like about him, the matchup, the value, the pricing, Tyus Jones, just kind of looking at Tyus Jones, 6,200 in this matchup. I do not mind this at all. Another one that I really want to look at today, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but should be getting the start here with the other players being out. Game log wise, where the minutes are there, coming off 35.75. He was 5,000. They've only bumped him up to 5,300. So the target you guys are looking for, if you're playing cash, you're basically looking for right around the juicy part of 7 times value. So just the floor value you're looking at, basically it'd be 5,300 times 7 is kind of what the floor you're looking at. Tournaments, you're looking for 8, 8.5 plus out of there. You're not going to get it from everybody, but that's kind of your baseline for when you're building a lineup, how you want to build that lineup down throughout. Take the player and get your player pool, take the players, look at their salaries, multiply that by 7.5 for cash, just to be safe, 7.5, go down, see what they can score. Then you can use our information. You can look at the player projections on the site. And with that, we have their last 5 game average. So the last 5 games played, we have their floor, their average, and their ceiling. And you can see if they've been in that window there. So if you're looking for that, that's just go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, hover over NBA, and go down to NBA DFS player projections. And you can kind of see if we've projected them out. That goes a lot of information. Simulations are there as well. The player trends are there, meaning the trends are both Fanduel and DraftKings spreads and total, how they've scored throughout the season when their team is a 5-point underdog or when their team is a 5-point favorite and stuff like that. So a lot of information. So that's why I'm telling you, use all of this information, plug and play it in with DFS Hero and their optimizer. It is one of the top ones I like. It's a great value. And again, you sign up using our link and prove that you used our link. We're going to give you a month of content. So going back here, a cheaper option, 5,300. You got to find some of those value on this slate. Another one would be, and depending on what we're looking at, for Minnesota with Cat being out, Mike Conley is another one that I really like. So Conley being in there, 5,600. I think you're able to find some value looking at a little bit of value on a slate that has 6 games. You're able to pay up at some other positions. So SGA, I think, is going to be one of the top ones that I want to pay up for today. Then we got to find some value throughout the entire day, and we will hopefully be able to help you out there. So with those being some of the top plays, want to find some value plays here. Jordan Goodwin, I do like Jordan Goodwin here against Atlanta. Has a really good DVP going up against the 27th DVP there. He's averaging about 30.75 minutes. His floor is 19.16 on DraftKings, and 33.25 is his ceiling there. Absolutely love his. He's more of a boomer bust player, so he's going to be a tournament only. His ownership as of now is pretty low. We're kind of looking at a value about 5.5 times value there. So not the biggest, but again, his price of 5,200 on DraftKings is going to allow you to pay up at other positions. We look at him at 5,200, coming off pretty good games here at his price. Price has basically stayed the same. He's in a good matchup here. Like I said, 5,200 is not too bad. And what I've said in other videos, definitely do not pay attention to the OPRK here. It is not correct. I don't know how DraftKings calculates it, but these players being like Jordan Goodwin being a point guard and shooting guard both, it doesn't show how it's calculated. DVP on what the primary he has played has been 27th, which is green. So these are all off. I do not trust these. I would not trust those building your lineups throughout there. A couple other value plays would be, and depending on what you consider, Trent Forrest. Now this would be just a salary saver. Don't expect a ton out of him, but if he gets some run with Atlanta, the minutes have ticked up a little bit. Again, coming off, not much. He is a boom or bust player, 100%, probably 90% bust, 10% boom. But these are the kind of plays that you need. Again, 11.25 fantasy points coming off. Not going to help your lineup a ton, but at $3,000 minimum salary, you could put him in there, and maybe that's a punt play for you, and you build your lineup throughout. There is another one that I would definitely look at. Josh Giddey would be another value option. Cason Wallace, if you want to go very tournament-wise. Miles McBride's another one that we have been using. So Miles McBride we've been using with Jalen Brunson out. Now, if Brunson is back, that's what I'm scared of. But he's coming off 46 minutes against Atlanta, 47 minutes against Cleveland. The minutes have been there. So if Brunson is out, I do like McBride. But if Brunson is in, then I'm probably off that McBride train. So let's move to shooting guard. Multi-position eligibility is big. It's key. We know that. And it should be. But I absolutely love... I mean, if you guys have not seen the highlight of Anthony Edwards blocking that to end the game last night, I think he hit his head on the backboard. He got up ridiculously high. But neither here nor there, with Cat being out, absolute of Edwards coming off 65.5 fantasy points. Again, it was a lower scoring game against Indy. I was very surprised it was only 113 and 111, but it's a high-paced game. But I love this matchup here against Cleveland, coming off 65.5. I want some exposure there. He is 9,000, but he is my number one shooting guard as of right now. Number 2 today would be Brandon Ingram. The price, yes, the prices are there, but that is kind of what we're looking at. Number 3 is actually Brandon Miller. In this game with 2 bad teams that are going against each other. Washington gives up a ton of points. It's coming off pretty good games in a row. Now he gets a matchup against Washington. That is very bad. Washington is bad. I think they've given up the most amount of fantasy points to every single position. So overall, Washington, very, very bad team. Flip side of that, with them being bad and this game somehow being competitive, Jordan Poole, he's in there again for shooting guard. Shooting guard, I don't mind. Dante is another one that I really want to look at. Would love him a little bit more if Brunson is out, but I still like him with Brunson being in. He's got a good matchup there. Karis LeVert. I love me some LeVert here with Donovan Mitchell being out. He's 6,100, so he's right in the middle there. Absolutely love that. Kelly Oubre Jr. is another one I want to look at. Buddy Hield is another one I want to look at. Bogdan Bojanovic is another one against Memphis. Love him in this matchup here. The DVP for Bojanovic is 21. So if you just kind of look at, there's 2. If you look at Bogdan here, coming off 37 fantasy points against Cleveland. Now he's got a great matchup here against Memphis. That's what I want to focus on. Moving to the small forward position. Just take a look. Anthony Edwards, I'd rather have him as shooting guard, but he has got that eligibility here. Jimmy Butler did let us down last night, and it's a second game of a back-to-back. He was the real weak link in our FanDuel lineup, I believe. Did not come through. I think he had 26 fantasy points. Did not come through for us. So I want to look at Miles Bridges. So Bridges comes in here, has a fantastic matchup here against Washington. I want to see if Miles faced anybody, or did he face Washington this season? I'm assuming he has. $11.22, put up 51 fantasy points at 7,200. They're bad, so I definitely want some Miles Bridges there. Tobias Harris makes sense for me. Franz Wagner, I do like a little bit. Duncan Robinson, I'm going to go back to the well with Duncan. We used him yesterday. Again, it's a back-to-back, so definitely pay attention. But coming off 29 fantasy points, 5,800, they dropped him down to 5,500. Give me all the Dunkin' Donuts I can take in this matchup. Power forward-wise, depending on who you're going to get, Jaren Jackson Jr. can be also used for center, but I love his matchup there. Zion in this game where they're supposed to be ahead pretty big. I do like Zion a little bit. Josh Hart makes sense. Again, I would love Josh Hart more if Jalen Brunson's out. So a lot of these Knicks players will be kind of dependent on if, in fact, Jalen Brunson is out. So that's something we got to pay attention to. A couple others that are a little bit lower. Sadiq Bey at 5,700. Kyle Anderson. Love me some Kyle Anderson. in this Minnesota lineup. Nas Reed, same thing with Minnesota, both being under 6K. Grant Williams will be another option I think people will be off of or not as heavy on. 5,400. Coming off a bad game, but he gets a matchup against Washington. So Grant Williams is another play at power forward that I definitely want to look at tonight. And then center position, I don't think it's going to be, the top two are out. Adebayo makes sense. Jaren Jackson Jr. got a great matchup. If you don't want to use him for power forward, you could use him for center. Jarrett Allen is what I like. Rudy Gobert is another one. I think Rudy Gobert is going to be my third ranked center tonight because of Karl Anthony Towns being out. Again, though, it is a back-to-back, so Gobert's down here at 7,700. Coming off pretty good games here, I want exposure to Rudy Gobert. Some value or value-ish options, Nick Richards, because Washington gives up the most amount of fantasy points to the opposing center. Nick Richards is in there. He is a $5,600 price. Love me some Nick Richards. Think people will be off of him because of the other ones. Paul Reed a little bit, but not huge. Some value tonight. Nicholas Batum I would look at. I would look at Dean Wade a little bit for tournaments. That's basically it. Maybe a little bit of Larry Nance, and that is it as well. So there you have it. That is just the breakdown of each position that we like. Now, what we're going to do is what we normally do. We're going to take one of our tools, the NBA points allowed by position tool, and we're going to build a lineup both on DraftKings and FanDuel. Now, this is only one way to do it. I'm making multiple lineups a day. I would not just make this lineup and that's it. Okay? So, we look at this. Phoenix, they're not playing today, but they give up the most amount to the point guard. We look at Washington Wizards. So the Wizards give up an average of 55.3 fantasy points to the opposing point guard. So we look at this. We look at shooting guard or point guard for Charlotte. Could be Mann, but he is questionable. Trey Mann is questionable due to right groin strain. This obviously you need your groin to run up and down the court. So we take value here. We're going to start. I'm going to say Micic. I really don't know how to say his name, but at 5,300 in one of the best matchups of his short career, I would definitely be looking at him. So then we go to shooting guard. We look at this. Washington gives up the most amount of shooting guard. So we look at shooting guard, Brandon Miller, with Mann maybe being out. McGowan's could be a tournament option. Minutes have kind of been there the past couple of games. Didn't really do it. One fantasy point in his last game at 3,200. It's probably not going to be his day, but again, in this matchup, he could. So McGowan's for tournament, I'm okay with at 3,100. Probably not for this lineup. I'd go Brandon Miller at 7,000. So then we move to small forward position. Looking at small forward, Washington gives up the most. I don't think that should have been a surprise. Miles Bridges. So this is one way to do it. This obviously would be a Charlotte stack, but we don't want to do that all the way because anything crazy could happen. So you can mix and match other places. So power forward, Charlotte actually gives up the second most, 51.9 fantasy points to the opposing power forward. So that's Washington. That's Kuzma. That's Kispert. If you think Kispert's going to do anything with 4,400 price, we're looking right around 20-ish minutes. Hasn't really had 1 fantasy point per game since the Lakers game. So it's probably not him. It's probably Kuzma. So you could look at that. And now we're averaging about 5,300 per player for the rest of the way through. So we look at this center position. Wizards give up the most. Spurs give up the second. Portland, Atlanta. So it's between Washington and Atlanta. So Charlotte would be Nick Richards. Atlanta would be Memphis, would be Jaren Jackson. So if you want to save money, and this is an actual stack, it would be Nick Richards. Now, again, it's not always best to stack a full game like this, and that is it. But we do look at this. We started off this way, and you can still average right around 5,300. So then we come down to this. Maybe you want to look at players that are like a guard that's right around 5,300 that we can look at that makes a little bit of sense to you. Depending on where we're at, okay, it really depends on what you feel comfortable with, what you've looked at for this position. So we kind of just, let's go all games. we kind of just look, let's say we're looking at an average of 5,300 the rest of the way. Jordan Goodwin, like I said, is at 5,200. Josh Giddey, I want to go with Jordan Goodwin here. We mentioned him as one of the top value picks on the slate earlier, and that's kind of what I wanted to look at. So now we're at 5,300 for forward. Kyle Anderson against Minnesota, I don't mind. Duncan Robinson's 5,500. Grant Williams is Charlotte. We can't really use him. So I'm going to go Kyle Anderson, 5,200. And then our utility spot at 5,500 now. That is Paul Reed and down. Like I said, I wanted to go with a little bit of Duncan today. We'd go Jalen Suggs. We'd go Hartenstein. I'm going to go with Duncan Robinson again today, though. So this is just one lineup. This is using one of our tools on the website. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com is that website. This is our points allowed by position tool. This is one lineup. This won't be the only lineup we have on the site. I wanted to bring that to your attention. So then we move to FanDuel. We sort it same kind of way. It's going to be basically the same because there are players that people are going to be off of. People do like to use fantasy points allowed by position tool, but it's not the only tool to use. So let's just put that in the back of our mind. So if we look at this, yeah, Washington gives up the most to point guard. We kind of knew that. It's Charlotte. It's with Trey Mann, we don't know if he's going to be in or out. We got to go him again. I feel like it's just confident about that. Then you got Utah not playing, Detroit, Milwaukee. So we look at this. Milwaukee is playing, not on this slate though, because why would we have all the games on the slate? So Charlotte is here. So we're looking at Jordan Poole on the flip side. So let's take these two guys against each other. Then we move to the shooting guard position. Washington, Utah, Atlanta. So let's just look at Atlanta, for instance. We're looking at Memphis. Vince Williams, you'd be looking at. So we could be looking at Vince Williams here. Kind of screwed us over a couple of games ago, but coming off some good games. So I'll take some Vince Williams. Is 7,200, which is kind of up there, but I'm completely okay with that. I don't mind paying up a little bit when we've paid down at some other positions today. So we need a second shooting guard. Portland, Dallas, San Antonio, Sacramento, Golden State. None of these teams are playing. So keep going down the list. Indiana, Memphis. So we're looking at Memphis. We're looking at Atlanta. Dejounte Murray, I don't mind him at all. But again, when you're building your lineup, 6,300 is where we're kind of at. So you can kind of see the difference between scoring on DraftKings and scoring on FanDuel. A little bit of difference there. But that's kind of what we are looking at when or if you feel confident about building a lineup. So we've got small forward here. Washington does give up the most. So we kind of look at this and depending, I guess. Okay. So Charlotte here, again, Miles Bridges makes sense. 8,400 is kind of expensive. Brandon Miller, you'll save a little bit of money here. If you want to go Brandon Miller at 7,000, which we're still averaging 6,100. So the second small forward, you'd be looking at Atlanta, which is Memphis instead. So we could be looking at Memphis players here. Desmond Bane being out. Vince Williams is already in our lineup. That's probably it. LaRavia, coming off some good games. He's 5,300, getting thrown in there with the minutes. I don't mind him. We haven't talked about him. He will save us some value. So we move to power forward. Looking at the power forward position, and depending on what you're looking for, Utah, Chicago, Charlotte. So Charlotte would be Washington players. So we look at Kuzma, Avdija. You could be looking at, he'll save you money. Coming off some good games. I don't mind that. Another power forward would be Toronto, Washington. So Toronto not playing. It's Miles Bridges. You could do it power forward. Then at center, so if you put in Miles Bridges, your center options dwindle drastically. So if we look at these, we're looking at Fernando, which I don't trust. Mo Bamba, I don't trust. I don't trust any of these guys down below. So that's where we change it up a little bit, and we look at another power forward position. So independent, so Cleveland gives up 48.8 fantasy points per game against the opposing power forward. So we see who Cleveland is playing. And we see that they're playing Minnesota. So power forward for Minnesota. I I like me some Kyle Anderson. I do. At 5,900, I don't mind. And that now allows us 6,800 for a center position. So we can go from Naz Reid down, and I'm probably looking at Naz Reid because we did mention him earlier. So this is another lineup. This is just one lineup we built with our tools. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, get those down below. Don't forget to get your comments in the down here so you can have a chance to win. You got to get the likes in there. You got to get the comments so the comment picker can pick you up if we end up having the contest go. So again, good luck on this slate. It is Friday. If you like this way, let me know. If you like the other way, we will go back to that other way. I just need some feedback. So good luck on this slate. And as always, bring them some bacon. Peace.